Hi, I'm Charlie from Triptease and I'm here at the Service Department Summit in New York. I had the opportunity to chat to Paul, who is the founder and now chairman of Quest Apartment Hotels. It's fascinating to hear about the way in which he approaches the market and the focus he has on a very specific type of customer who can be there for the long term.
Paul Constantinou from Quest Service Apartments, or Quest Apartment Hotels as they're known today.
And maybe we should start there. What's the reason for the rebrand?
Well, Rebrand was more around working with our clients and customers, and there was always trying to get a better understanding of service departments, and there was a bit of an issue as to what service departments really were, because there's a different number of industries that use service departments, especially in aged care. They have a service department component, which we're not. So we thought we'll synergise ourselves a little bit with the European market and the UK market, which are apart hotels. So we changed our name to Quest Apartment Hotels. So it fits in well. Again, being careful that we're not hotels. We have amenities, we act like hotels, but we don't have that food and beverage offering that hotels typically do.
And just out of interest, with that rebranding, which is always quite a big exercise, to what extent did it change the people who turned up at the front door? I mean, did your customers, did it attract different types of customers?
No, what it did, it helped us get into markets that we weren't in before. And typically we was always trying to get into the hotel market from travel managers that manage corporate accounts. Now, although most of our business is corporate clients, we tended to deal with their procurement section as opposed to just the travel manager. When we've created the new brand and created a studio offering, which is similar to a hotel offering, because the rooms are a bit smaller, it becomes just it's still got a kitchenette. It helped them identify that the asset or the product similar to a hotel, so it was an easy offering. But what it did, people felt good about the whole brand change, and that came from every stakeholder, from customer to employee to investor. Even the financiers loved it because we put the new brand on the buildings, and everyone was like, "Oh, geez, look at that! Doesn't it look great?" Now, it is a brand. It doesn't make you profitable, but geez, it goes a long way to helping you.
Because I imagine one of the challenges for growing the business is finding more franchisees. Is that?
Yeah. The hardest part is finding the right location. So we've always stemmed from a locational perspective. So our core market is understanding where our corporates need to be. So we'll venture and develop with third-party developers or ourselves in those locations. And once you've got the location, then you can start building the business around that, building the building, and then finding the franchisee that's actually going to run that business at the end of the day. But typically if the location's wrong, everything else tends to fall apart. You can't move the building.
And can you give us an example of what is your typical client? How long are they staying for? What's the reason?
Okay. What we did was we broke up the market when we first started back in '88 into corporate, leisure, typically the two segments. We took corporate, but focused on the corporates that needed to stay more than 2 nights. So, and the typical classification or terminology was extended stay. So we tended to go for that end of the corporate traveller. So all the efforts, all the designs that we did were all based on extended stay corporate traveller. So all we do is focusing on those. We do pick up the shorter term stays. Our average length of stay depends if you're in the city or out of the city, will range from 4 to 7 days. It could go up to 2 or 3 months. In fact, we do have longer term stays, but we've built our buildings that we can cater for all segments. That if you want to bring your family, there's a 3-bedroom apartment in that building. So we don't have part of a building, we have the whole building.
And we're always fascinated in distribution. So what are the ways in which people find you, and how do you distribute your rooms?
Well, we've got, again, the corporate market it's a little bit easier to market to, because first of all, we built a relationship with the major top 300 corporate companies in Australia. So we know where they want to be, we know what they need. Sometimes we find in the corporate market, the actual guest may want a lot of things. He may want a 6-star experience, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really need a 6-star experience, nor is the company going to pay for a 6-star experience. So it's more around focusing on their needs. So what we've done is work with the corporates, understand what their needs are, where the locations are, and then ask them, how would you like to transact with us? And that can be via a distribution channel, be it through the website. We'll work with OTAs. I think they're important. But our challenge is always when we're working with a third-party website or provider, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be our guest. The guest has to be owned to us. So we're hoping that the second, third time stay, he can book direct. So our company currently, we're fortunate that we'll have 65 to 67% of our business come direct. And a lot of that is still by the phone. Because the nature of extended stay or long-term stays, it's more than just 1 or 2 night stay. It's more than just a price. It's more around other facilities that I may want. I may want some foodstuffs in my pantry. It's all those which easier to do over the phone as opposed to trying to work out what list do I press.
And you must get a lot of, because of the corporate market, a lot of repeat visitors. Is a loyalty program something you've thought about or that you have?
Look, we've worked with a number of loyalty programs. We've linked up to airline loyalty programs. The one that we've worked with probably for the last 5 years, it's been one of more of recognition. So rather than just doing points, because we know corporates have a lot of cards and they'll get points on their card, on their flights, we tend to recognise the corporate, or acknowledge the corporate as one of our customers. So during your number of stays, we actually track where you stay, and you'll be surprised at a point in stay that you might be given a box of chocolates, a bottle of wine, something to take home to your spouse, to your partner, to appreciation of your stay, as opposed to more nights to use more stays. It's like, well, the corporate travellers look at it differently than a leisure traveller. Most of them hate travelling. They don't want to see another hotel room. So if you surprise them with something else, it tends to go well.
Right, surprise and delight. That's a great strategy.
Acknowledge them as your customer. So, and by doing that, it's not just, well, here's 10,000 points, go jump on a plane. Everyone does that.
And I know you have a partnership with Ascot, and that's really interesting to see, an independent brand like yours joining up with another. What was the drivers of that, and how does it work?
Okay, the driver behind it was more around growth, the Quest growth, and again, stepping outside of Australia as well, and looking at global markets, but also in Australia. The difficulties we've had in Australia is the industry itself suffered from being a true asset class to funders, to third-party lenders. So having tried to deal with those people, it's taken us 28 years to educate them to this level. Ascot came to us and said, well, look, and because we've worked with Ascot for many years, it wasn't just something that happened. They said, well, look, how about we try and create something more than just an alliance? We'll take a share of your business, but in doing that, we'll provide you with property capital, so which helps our expansion. So they've provided, I think, we talk about $500 million over 5 years, which they'll expend in Australia. So they've put that aside for our growth, which is great. And in doing so, basically the precursor or the seed capital, they bought 3 of our existing properties and put it in their REIT. So the REIT owns the property. So we've created this, and that we've sold them a 20% share of Quest, so we're all partners in the industry. The good thing is that we're in the same industry. They're at that part of the world, we're this part of the world, but we act a bit differently. They have managements, they have ownerships, we have franchising. And I think the 3 work very well in the global market, and hopefully over the years we'll see all brands grow.
And when you think, finally, about sort of the rest of this year and challenges or opportunities in revenue management or online distribution, where will you be putting efforts?
It's probably more in, we've just sourced or just looking at improving the distribution and probably how revenue is generated within a property. And what I mean by that is that when you're aiming at the service department or the extended stay market, you generally want to chase the long-term bookings. When you're dealing with franchisees and you're dealing in very tight markets, they'll chase the dollar. So if they can get someone for 2 nights at a very high rate, that's good enough for them. So what we've now done is built a system whereby any booking that's 5 days or greater will automatically be accepted into your business. How you then manage it is your concern. Because typically what we find is that the market that's coming in for 2 nights stay typically isn't your market. They're probably going to go, the reason they've come to you, the hotel's been full. But what you've decided to do is neglect a core market, which is extended stay, which will be there tomorrow, which will be there next time, that it needs that product. So we've got to force the franchisees. I think the big challenge is don't become a product for everyone, because the market's very vibrant at the moment. It's stay very core focused on the extended stay market. I think over the 28 years, that's what we've focused on, our growth, our distribution. And it's working hard with even some of the travel managers, relocation companies, and asking them, how do they want to source our inventory? As opposed to be open to everyone. You're open to everyone, you're going to get some people you don't want. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be at prices you don't want. So we don't use the third-party websites or the online travel agents as the seller of last resort. We actually use them at the top end. How can we sell our last 2 rooms at the best price?
That is fascinating. So you're pushing your franchisees not to accept short-term bookings that they'd like to accept. That must be quite...
Well, it's challenging.
Yeah.
The rationale is if I said to you, I can give you $200 now, or you can take a $5,000 booking. And all they see is the $200 because it's now,
Yeah.
as opposed to that long-term stay. Even if you had to displace that client and pay $300 to put him somewhere else, you're still in front. And that market is your market. Because that hotel room, or if you sell an apartment for one night, the cleaning cost of an apartment is far greater than a hotel room. So there's not much money you will make out of it anyway. Give me the $5,000 booking or the $2,000 booking, which is really what it's about. We're here building a business to service the extended stay traveller. It's like people will take group bookings for one night. Why? That's what hotels are here for. Let them have it. They'll deal with them better. They'll give them the experience because you can't give them the attention they need that a hotel can provide. They want to have room service. You can't do it.
Well, I've got to say, I'm sure that it's that guts and clarity of vision that's allowed you to be building this business for 28 years, is it?
28 years, yeah.
Amazing. I think, that focus is admirable and inspiring. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.